Hello everyone. In today's video, I am going camping at Deadwood Reservoir. It's up in the mountains in Idaho. The nearest town is Lowman, Idaho. And there's actually a hot springs called Deadwood Hot Springs. That's about a 3.5 mile hike up the mountain and then a 3.5 mile hike back, 7 miles round trip. I'll be hitting that hopefully in the morning. It is almost 7 o'clock. I'm getting a really late start, but it's Friday afternoon after work, and so I'm going to get up there, cook some dinner, camp, and hike to the hot springs in the morning. And so come along. I made it to Deadwood Reservoir. It took me about 2.5 hours from the last gas station in the Boise area. I left there at about 7 o'clock. It is now 9:30. The road you go up is Highway 55. You hang a right at the Banks-Lowman Highway, and you go up it for a little bit, and then you take a left at a Stone Mountain Drive, I believe is what it said it was. And you follow that road for a long time. It's narrow and steep. I would say that a car could make it, but I was more comfortable in my four-wheel drive SUV, I think. There were some spots that were really rough. All in all, it was pretty easy again in a four-wheel drive SUV, but very windy, narrow, steep. I found a camping spot, and I'm going to settle in for the night. And again, tomorrow morning I'm going to wake up and hike to Deadwood Hot Springs, and I'm pretty excited about that. But that's it for tonight. I'm going to put the camera away, make dinner, read a book, and go to bed. So I'll check in with you in the morning. Good morning. It is 7:30 in the morning. Just woke up. I slept okay. No complaints, but I wanted to show you guys my sleeping setup for when I sleep in the SUV in the 2015 Mitsubishi Outlander. I'm 6'1", so I had to make a contraption, so to speak, in order to be able to fit lying down in the back of the car. I'll show you that now. Here's where I slept. This is just a little air mattress. It's smaller than a twin. Got it on Amazon for $8, and it's really comfortable. But if I remove this, or get it out of the way, what I've done is taken a piece of plywood, and I've drilled holes in it right there and right there, ran some paracord through it, and then paracorded that to 2 carabiners that go around the headrest, and this keeps you from an uncomfortable night's sleep. If you don't have this, then there's a sizable gap between the back seat and the front seat, and your head just falls down. But with this, you put your head right there, and it goes nowhere. This is something I threw together last minute, and so it's not perfect and it's not pretty. So I've put this beautiful thrift store Afghan over top of it. You put that on top. Have my solar lantern right here, and I slept in it. Now I have to give credit to Tristan from the YouTube page SUV RVing. If you haven't seen him, please check out his page. He goes on awesome adventures throughout mainly the Southwest, Utah, Arizona, Colorado. But on one of his videos, he showed everybody how to do that, why he did that, and it works great. So thank you to Tristan from SUV RVing, and go check his page out. I got here late last night. It was well after dark, but I wanted to show you guys the campsite. This is the Forest Service road right here. I found this little pull-off. It was late and dark, and I was getting desperate, so I wasn't being picky, but it comes up and around, and it loops around over here. There's a big metal empty container. I don't know what it used to hold. Maybe gasoline, maybe water. So that's there. Fire pit from a previous camper. And then here's our SUV. And it loops back around and back to the Forest Service road. It wasn't the greatest camping spot in the world, but like I said, I got in late and didn't have it afforded to me to be picky. And I'm up here at Deadwood Reservoir, and you won't be able to see it with my camera, but through the trees, Deadwood Reservoir's right there. So I am all packed up, ready to go find the trailhead to Deadwood Hot Springs. All in all, it was a decent little camp spot. I think my favorite part was hearing the elk calls all night. It was pretty cool. Now we're going to go find the trailhead to Deadwood Hot Springs. So I've made it to the dam at Deadwood Reservoir, and I'm on the release side, the opposite side of the reservoir, the river side, so to speak. And so I wanted to come down here and show you guys. I have made it to the start of the trail, to the hot springs. It's about 3.3 miles in, which makes it about 3.3 miles back. And it's roughly 8:30 in the morning, and we're going to get it started. The name of the trail we are on is Whitehawk Basin Trail. This trail is absolutely breathtaking. This trail's just been absolutely beautiful so far. I'm not even a mile in yet, and it's hard to not just stop and look at everything. Wow. If you are ever at Deadwood Reservoir in Idaho, it's between Garden Valley and Lowman, up in the mountains. I highly recommend you take the Whitehawk Basin Trail. We are here at a fork in the trail. The map in my book, Best Hiking Hot Springs in the Pacific Northwest, says to take the left fork. Do not take the right fork. Take the left fork and follow it for about another mile, and then we'll make it to Deadwood Hot Springs. So let's go. The last mile to a little bit over a mile has been all uphill, but still a lot of fun. I apologize if it's loud. The creek here is kind of loud. But we made it to Deadwood Hot Springs. The last 2.5 miles, 2 miles maybe of the hike. We're uphill, but not too bad. Well-groomed trails. Only for the last, gosh, eighth of a mile did the trail kind of get a little confusing. However, we made it, and I'm excited. It's absolutely beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. Now let's go get in a soak. I apologize if it's loud. The creek is loud, but I just got done at Hot Springs number 1. There's 3 pools down here at Deadwood, and it's really, really cool because it's in a cave and the warm water comes dripping off the side. It's really, really cool. The temperature was just, it was just warm. Not too hot, not too cold, but closer to cold. Nonetheless, I'm hiking over to Hot Springs number 2 and 3 now. Here I am in pool number 2. It is a nice temperature, nice and big. Could comfortably seat about 4 people. Nice, rocky, kind of sandy bottom. This is a great soak. And lastly, I am here at pool number 3. It is easily the most famous pool when you look up pictures. It's also the biggest pool. However, if you remember from pool number 2, it had a lot of pipes coming down out of the side of the hill. I think that some of those pipes were diverted from this pool and put over there, just because this pool is just warm at best. It feels nice after hiking 3.5 miles, but as far as a hot spring soak go, it's not that warm. But again, I think that has something to do with the pipes that were in pool number 2 need to be moved over here to pool number 3. It's just whichever pool you're using, you pipe in the hot water. Either way, it's really cool. Just got done at Deadwood Hot Springs. I got there at about 10 o'clock, so it took me about an hour and a half to hike in. Now I'm hiking out, but there were 3 pools. Pool number 1 was probably the coolest. It was practically inside of a cave with the warm water dripping down. Really, really cool. However, the temperature was more on the cold side. Pool number 2 was the warmest of the pools. It was a really good temperature, actually. I really liked the temperature. I still don't have a water thermometer. I need one. Pool number 2 was probably my favorite. But pool number 3 was also a little on the colder side, but it was by far the biggest. So I feel like I'm on House Hunters, option 1, 2, or 3. But number 2 is my favorite just because of the temperature. To me, that's what makes a soak. The coolest one was pool number 1 with the cave. And the biggest one was pool number 3. Now I'm doing the 3.5 mile hike back to the car. I expect it to go much quicker, seeing as how most of the way here was uphill, most of the way back will be downhill. However, with that being said, I'm not going to film on the way back. I filmed a bunch on the way to the hot springs, and on the way back I'm just going to enjoy the hike, because man, it is a spectacular hike. There are some challenging parts. I'm out of shape, but it is breathtaking. It's incredible. Here's a challenging part. Not too bad, but you got to climb up and over a fallen tree. Again, the trail is called Whitehawk Basin Trail, and it is amazing. But I'm heading back to the car now, and I'll see you guys there. I made it back to the car. It's roughly noon, so it took me about 2 hours to soak and to do the 3.5 mile hike back. Made it back to the car, changed my clothes, and now I'm ready to head home. But I wanted to give 3 shout outs before I ended the video, so bear with me. Number 1, shout out to my wife, Christina. She unfortunately wasn't able to come this time. She had to work. I missed her, and I wish she could have come, but work is work. Shout out number 2 is to Tristan and to SUV RVing, his YouTube page. Check him out if you haven't already. He was the one that gave me the idea, and it's his idea, to put down that piece of plywood and paracord it to the headrest, so that when you sleep in the back of your SUV, your head doesn't fall back all night long. Again, that's something that I learned from him. So thank you again to Tristan from SUV RVing. Check him out. And my third and final shout out is to Hiking Hot Springs in the Pacific Northwest. This is a great book, a great guide, a great tool that I use in order to do adventures such as these. It's by Evie Litton and Sally Jackson. If you live in Idaho, Oregon, Washington, and even Canada, this book has got all sorts of hot springs for you, 300 pages worth, and their directions are great. They use GPS coordinates. Their written directions are outstanding, and if it wasn't for this book, I wouldn't have been able to do Deadwood today, so thank you to them. And now we're just going to head home. And I just wanted to show you guys one last thing. Here is Deadwood Reservoir. I talked about this being Deadwood Reservoir so much that I figured I should actually show you the actual reservoir itself before the end of this video. And so yeah, people fish it, people swim it, people boat it. It's a recreational reservoir. But yeah, just wanted to show you guys Deadwood Reservoir. So that's it for this video. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. And again, if you're ever in the Deadwood area, it's in Idaho. Nearest town is Lowman, Idaho. There's a lot of fun stuff to do up here, but I would highly recommend the Whitehawk Basin Trail. It's an absolutely amazing trail. Can't recommend it highly enough. It's 3.5 in, 3.5 out. It's a little bit of work, but it's well worth it. Again, thank you for watching. If you have any thoughts or questions, please leave them in the comments below, and we'll catch you on the next video.